Welcome to another episode of Diamond Podcast. I'm your host, local realtor, entrepreneur, community advocate, Alfredo Diamond. And today's a special day, a great day. I'm excited about our next guest. It took a while. We've been talking about this for a couple years now. I had to get on her busy schedule, but very influential person in my life and in my business, and great person I consider a great partner in my business, and really appreciate her. Just wanted to know that. So, very special guest, Amy Dillon, Brewer Broadcasting. Welcome to the show, Amy.
Thank you. I'm really honored to be here. Finally, right?
Yeah, thank you for being here, Amy. I don't want to go into, we'll talk about your past, but first, kind of why do you do what you do, as far as your professional life?
I was raised to work to make a difference, and I really feel that in my volunteership and in my professional world, I think we do make a difference.
Yeah.
Whether it's helping develop careers, help people make more money to raise their families, whether that's the staff or our customers at the radio station. I think we make a difference, and that's driving for me.
Absolutely, and I'll put it out there. I mean, me at the time being a new realtor and nervous and scared what to do, and you kind of took me, and you invested in me, and you're actually the reason I got this slogan, Diamond Class Care, and we ran with that, and that was you the brainchild behind that. So I just can't thank you enough for what all you do. So why do you do that? Like, why do you invest in time in others like that, like you did with me?
Well, I was a customer before I got into radio.
Okay.
I did the marketing for the McDonald's franchisee for Dana Weigel for several years. And so I was a customer. So I would see whether it's media people coming in my doors or anybody trying to sell some sort of marketing, the guy that sells the ads on the back of the cash register receipts.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw so much cookie cutter.
Yeah.
And so many people trying to sell what they needed to sell versus what I really needed to do to help our business.
Yeah.
And when I joined the radio station and worked with Dave Stricker, the environment and the culture there was very customer service oriented, results oriented. And I'd worked with them when I did the marketing for McDonald's. I'd taken the sandwich of the month on the morning show, and I kind of knew the folks. Mm-hmm. But I didn't really know how deep that was. They didn't just treat me that way, but they treated everybody that way.
Yeah.
We're not going to sell you 100 ads for $1,000, and what do you want to say in your ad?
Yeah. Yeah.
We really want to develop marketing campaigns and thoughtful slug lines, and make it a campaign that's going to get results today.
Wow, and you do that. You do a wonderful job. You've helped me. I know you have, and I'm appreciative. So, you mentioned McDonald's, the Brewer Broadcasting. Walk me through your timeline briefly. Where'd you start at? And where are you from?
Okay.
I believe you're from this area, right?
Yeah.
And walk me through all that.
So I've always lived in Wayne County.
Yeah.
Born and raised. Went through Centerville High School, Centerville Elementary. So I'm a Bulldog.
Okay.
So the blue serves me well for a
Red
blue
Devils.
Bulldog.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Started my professional career when I was, I think, legally too young to work at the donut shop next door to where I lived.
What was that?
At the little donut shop in Centerville.
Uh-huh.
We lived in one of the arch houses, and next door was a donut shop.
Oh, cool.
So I'd walk over and help the people a couple hours in the mornings on Saturdays, and ended up working there through high school. And then went into food service and went to IU East and got my degree and got married and started having kids. And in high school, I went to a career fair, and you did an assessment test. And I knew I loved PR. Mm-hmm. And I thought I wanted to be a teacher. And, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So I knew the gal at McDonald's that did the marketing, and she said, let me take you under my wing and see what we can do with this. So I did birthday parties and tours at McDonald's and school caterings and worked with Ronald McDonald whenever he was in town.
Now, this is McDonald's on Main Street?
Yeah, this is 18th and Main. Yeah, I did birthday parties in that old caboose years ago.
Man, that's years
and
ago.
made some lifelong friends in McDonald's for sure. And then she ended up moving out of state, and long story short, I was able to step into her role as the marketing director for the McDonald's here. And really, really enjoyed that. Got to know a lot of folks in the community, got to volunteer a lot. And Dana Weigel had a lot of the same values as Dave Stricker at Brewer Broadcasting. It's work hard and play hard
That's what I live by.
and
Yeah.
give all your heart.
Yeah.
And, Dana was the chamber board president. He was chairman of the Rose Festival for a few times, very active in Kiwanis. And I kind of followed his footsteps. And I got involved in the Rose Festival, and I got involved in Kiwanis, and I got involved in the chamber. And have really used him as a mentor for a lot of the leadership that he taught me, that I'm in a role now that I'm trying to inspire and develop other people, that same way.
You took one of my questions. I mean, because you really inspired me to get involved in the community, starting a chamber and things like that. And I was going to ask you, what inspired you to be so involved like you are?
I think it was really Dana Weigel.
Yeah,
I'll give him credit. That guy would roll up his sleeves, and whether you saw him in his bucket truck putting up Christmas lights at the restaurants himself,
Wow.
or hopping behind the grill because they were behind on quarter pounder meat or something, he was a doer as well as a good leader, and he made you want to do well.
Yeah.
So that's really in my early 20s. Boy, that was a great life lesson for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So, 90s, you're at McDonald's, you're marketing director.
Market, and then Dana is ready to semi-retire, and so he was selling some of his McDonald's, and I wasn't in the budget the next year.
Oh, wow.
I know, but he was kind. He came in with plenty of notice and was helping me
Yeah.
make some connections. And that's when I called the radio station and said, hey, what you got? And they had just had a gal that gave her notice on their client marketing team. So I was able to shadow her for a few days, and that's where my radio career started, was that day.
Now, it didn't happen that fast. So was there?
It really did.
There was no gap in employment? Okay.
No, Dana said,
You got a tip on a job opener?
early October he came in and we had the visit, and he said, take the rest of the year, I'll help you. And about 3 weeks later, I started the radio station.
Wow. So
So-
you start the radio station.
Good timing. The
Yeah.
stars aligned well.
Marketing at the radio station?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I
okay.
took care of clients and helped them with their marketing plans and writing commercials and coordinating all that on the ground level.
Wow. It's really a cool experience. And we'll come back to that, but it's really a cool experience now you brought it up, being a customer myself and coming in and you taking that time to ask me questions, find out what my goals are, and then getting in the booth to record. That was so fun to record the ads and get my
Yeah.
voiceovers. That was pretty cool. So great experience.
You did well.
Oh, thank you.
You should do it more.
I know. Yeah, right. Yep.
You knew that was coming.
Set me up. So marketing, this is what, 94?
Oh, gosh, yeah, early 90s.
Early 90s, okay.
And so I fast-tracked and was sales manager at Brewer Broadcasting. And then after, 9 years or so, I wanted to go to the big market. So I had an opportunity to work in Indianapolis on the Circle with Emma's Communications.
Okay.
And came back as a salesperson, not as a manager, and saw a different view, a different way of doing things. I think took my learnings up a notch with some of their values, which was very strong. Jeff Somalian ran a great company, lived in Indianapolis, gave to the community, encouraged community service, and taking care of the customer the right way.
So a lot of similarities with what you were already
Very
doing.
much,
But what
yeah.
what was different? Like what you learned that was different?
A larger market, less local business work, more working with ad agencies, which was fine.
Yeah.
But I was really glad to get back into smaller markets where I could have more customer experiences and not just dealings over the telephone or with a middleman who was negotiating with the client
Yeah.
between us. So I ended up back in Muncie, Indiana,
Okay.
running the
You're getting
stations.
closer.
Yeah, getting back home. I was still living in Richmond, just doing the commute,
Okay.
and was there for 8 years, and was hired as sales manager, and then eventually became the market manager there, and was running the stations that we had, and then that radio group got purchased, and they didn't need a general manager anymore. So that was one of the, oh my gosh, now what?
Yeah.
You know, because I'd elevated up to the general manager role, and there's not a lot of those out there.
Okay.
So I took about a month and evaluated some other opportunities, and even considered changing
Career
industries.
path.
Yeah, doing a career change. And the gentleman that sold the radio stations recommended me to another company, but it was in Terre Haute, Indiana. Okay, so here's Richmond over by Ohio.
Yeah.
Terre Haute is
On the other side.
over there
2
by
hours.
Illinois.
Yeah.
How can I do this? But I fell in love with the company. Again,
Relocated?
I got an apartment and did the
Okay.
weekend warrior thing in Richmond.
Yeah. Okay.
So worked for them, learned some new systems and new ways of doing things, but still that company was very locally driven, do the right things right.
Yeah.
The Wright family, WRIGHT, really drove home, do the right things right.
The first
You
time.
know, and I
Yeah.
thought, right. Oh, there's kind of a connection there. But I still believe that. You know, you can stay
Yeah.
busy all you want,
Yeah.
but if you're not doing the right things
Right.
the right way,
Counterproductive.
you're not going to get as far as quickly.
Yeah.
So I picked up a lot of really good values and business techniques there on how to be more efficient, and ways to save some money and ways not to waste money. And then a couple years into that of getting up at 5 a.m. on Monday and getting over
Done it.
there by 8 o'clock on Monday
I've done that
morning and then
before.
coming back on Fridays.
Yeah.
I mean, my kids were raised. My husband and I are in a wonderful place in our lives, and it worked.
Yeah.
You know, he'd come to Terre Haute some weekends, and I'd come home more weekends than that. But I got a call from Dave Stricker, and he says, "Hey," because he's the guy that got me into radio.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he said, "Let's have coffee. Are you home this weekend?" I'm like, "Yeah, we'll have coffee." So we had coffee over a series of time, and then he told me he was thinking about retiring. And so I worked with Jim Brewer and Dave, and over the course of time ended up moving back home with my career. But I've lived on Salisbury for, I don't know, 30 years.
Wow.
So I was always called Richmond my home. But now I really feel it. I mean, I'm in my 10th year back home.
Okay. So you
In my
just keep
10th
taking
year.
my questions, ain't you?
I'm in my 10th year back home.
Okay.
You know, my grandkids are here. I can go to the volleyball games. I can go out for dinner on a Wednesday with my husband if I want to.
Yeah.
I love it. And the beauty of it is we were able to buy my grandmother's home when she passed away.
Wow. That's beautiful.
And you know that, getting me out of that
Mm-hmm.
home and moving to Terre Haute or moving away just wasn't in the cards.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm living my best life right now.
That's awesome. I'm so happy for you. And so during these times, you've had some transitions. Was there any adversity you faced at any time? Like, was it kind of slow to get the transition?
Shifting, you know, I was going in with people I didn't know
Yeah.
and didn't know the ways that it had always been done in those places.
Mm-hmm.
So I try not to go in and shift everything all at one time. Really observe, build relationships, build trust
Mm-hmm.
before you start changing everything.
Yeah.
And you just tweak and look for things that are going great and build on those things first.
Yeah.
Teach and train and build skills around you and surround yourself with good folks that really want to do the good things for the company and the good things for the customers. And you kind of weed out the ones that don't
Yeah.
over time.
You've had several influential people in your career and organizations. What's the best piece of advice that someone's given you that you still carry to this day?
Work hard, play hard, and have some fun while you're at it.
Yeah.
Because you work hard. There's not an 8-to-5 job, I don't think, practically anywhere anymore. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
People are doing more jobs, you know, whether it's downsizing, right sizing, or COVID sizing, or whatever you want to call it. You find yourself just trying to be flexible and stay focused, Like I said before, do the right things right, work hard, and play hard.
And so you've been in broadcasting for what, 20 years now? Safe to say that?
30-ish, yeah.
30-ish?
Yeah.
So how has the industry shifted from when you first started until what kind of trends are you seeing now in your field?
That's a great question. When TV was invented, oh, that's going to kill radio. And then MTV came around with music videos. Oh, that's going to kill radio. And then satellite radio and Pandora. Oh, that's going to kill radio.
Yeah.
But it hasn't.
Yeah.
Radio has always had an alternative. So, when we used to carry around our notebooks with our CDs in them, or the little CDs that were up on our dash, we're not doing that anymore. Okay?
Right.
We may pop over to Pandora or Spotify instead of carrying around those CDs. But radio listenership is still very strong. But we've had to go where the people are.
Yeah.
So, I'll admit it, I've got one radio at my house with dials,
Yeah.
and it's in the garage.
So how you do that? Like, where are the people? Online?
So, smart speakers,
Uh-huh.
we probably have 4 Alexa devices in our house, 2 laptops, smart speakers all over the place.
Yeah.
And so I'm listening on my phone with my Bluetooth on my smart speaker, or I'm going in the kitchen and saying, "Hey Alexa, play Kix 96," and Sean and Dave are in my kitchen with me. The apps. So we've had to go digital and stay with the times and stay with the technology.
Yeah.
But radio's always done that. We're not just on the AM dial anymore. They went to FM, and then they went to HD radio. And we used to have carts with commercials that we would plug in. Well, now it's all digital with commercials. And so we've had to evolve and stay up with the times, but that's always been done.
Yeah.
When we look at, there was a study done last year about time spent with ad-supported media. And radio was first
Wow.
with the time spent with media. At 11%, you'll like this, second place under radio was only 11%, and it was podcasts.
Really?
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Sirius XM at 4%, and Pandora at 4%.
Why
But
do you
radio was like 78% of the time spent with ad-supported media is with
78%?
radio. 78%.
Why? Because people are in the car?
In the car, and it's mobile, and it's on your phone, and
Yeah.
You're waking up with it, and if you're not in the shower by the time the news comes on, you're running behind. People set their watches to it.
Yeah. As a customer, man, I admit there's nothing like when you get that customer that you didn't know that heard your radio ad, and or you go to the coffee shop or out to breakfast or lunch, and man, I just heard you on the radio. It's an amazing feeling. I do.
It does
enjoy
feel
that.
good. So you know
Yeah.
how Blake Shelton felt when
Okay.
somebody said they heard his song the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so from a customer standpoint, when you sign up with the radio, it's not just on air ads. I mean, you've got social media page, you've got the website. What's your reach? What's your reach with the broadcast, and then what's your reach with? Do you have a grasp on those numbers with the social media?
Social media, we can track. We don't subscribe to Nielsen ratings.
Okay.
They don't service our small markets like they used to. But I know that we reach. The FCC says we can say Kix 96 reaches a 19-county area. It'll go all the way to Indianapolis, down to Cincinnati, very far north before you get to Fort Wayne. Now, are we those communities' favorite radio stations? Probably not. But certainly, as you're driving to Cincinnati, or if you're commuting to Indianapolis for a job, we can stay with them for most of that ride.
Okay.
Social media, I should know that off the top of my head. I don't have that
I'll
number
hit you with that
memorized.
one. It's okay.
That's okay. But we do track our web visits and
Analytics. And everything.
yeah. It's very strong, and it's growing.
Yeah. You think about your business, and then you think about your career path and how people influenced you. I know you've probably got a ton of these stories, but is there a success story that comes to mind that where you had an impact on a customer, and you saw their business go from, maybe just right on the
Yeah.
cusp of making it work, and then now you're like, come to see you and getting the ads. I mean, any success stories you want to share?
Oh, there's a guy now. He's not in the area anymore, but he ran a little tanning bed downtown.
Okay.
And this is the days when we had pagers. Okay.
Yeah.
And my page would
Just a
go
minute.
off. Yeah.
Just a minute.
And it would have Dan's phone number with 911 after it. And that meant call back real quick.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So if I was in the area, I'd just go ahead and stop in or whatever. And he ran a little tanning bed. And if somebody was trying to sell him ads, oh, wait, I need to consult with my marketing consultant. I guess when he worked with me, he hired me in his mind to help him, and I loved it. And there were things that I would say, I'm not sure that's a good idea, or yeah, you should do this, but let's ask these questions. Because I wanted him to be successful, because the more successful he was overall, obviously the more we could help him grow his business, which would help grow our business.
Yeah.
And he had a goal. He said, I want to be a millionaire by the time I'm 30.
Okay.
I'm like, whoa, really?
Yeah.
A guy in his young 20s. And he made it.
Wow. Wow, that's incredible.
And he had his 50th birthday recently, and I bumped into him, and we still hug, and he's like, I did it. I did it. And I was like, well, I hope I don't say this to him, but I feel like I helped contribute to that some. And when you see
Absolutely.
a new client that embraces the way that you do business, the way we do business, and we make the client work a little bit, like that, come in and let's talk about what you want to accomplish, open up a little bit on your goals and what's going well and what's not going great, what we can really help you with. And then we design a campaign to do that. And when it works, and it does, it's wonderful. We have a current client, I won't say who it is,
Sorry.
but they have doubled their business in the last 12 months.
Mm.
And the only thing they did different was work with us.
Wow.
And that makes your heart feel good,
Oh, yeah.
That's
That's amazing.
makes your heart feel good.
That's amazing. I know what you've done for me, so I can just imagine.
But that's why you do it.
Yeah.
You get some intrinsic benefits
Yeah.
from my chair.
Yeah. And, so we talked about, how your previous employer rubbed off on you with community involvement. Waggle?
Yeah, Dana. Yeah.
Dana Waggle,
Yeah.
okay. And so talk about your community involvement. I mean, because you're everywhere. You're very involved. Talk about some of your experiences and why you do what you do, and what's going on. Any new projects or events happening?
I used to be a joint-aholic. My dad would tease me when I was in high school. If there's an underwater basket weaving club, you're joining it.
You're there. How many boards are you on now?
Well, I really have dialed in.
Okay. Yeah.
So I choose my off time by the cause, but also by who else is doing it with me.
Yeah.
Because I want to have fun.
Yeah.
Be around
Yeah.
fun people.
Right.
And make a difference. So I just timed out on the chamber board. We were on that together.
Yep.
I did my 2 terms, and you roll off after 2 terms.
Yeah.
But I'm still very active with the Boys and Girls Club.
Okay.
I was a board member before I went to work in Indianapolis, and that was the first phone call I made when I got back to town. Hey, is there a board opening? How can I help? What can I volunteer? Because their impact
Yeah.
on kids is measured and really makes a difference. So I've stayed with them in my 10th year back on the board there.
Wow.
I'm also, a new thing I'm doing, I'm volunteering with Civic Theater.
Okay. That's
And
exciting.
I'm not a stage person.
Yeah.
Don't give me a script and say memorize these lines. That's not my jam. I enjoy going, so I enjoy the patron side of it. I love a good play, a good musical. I'll be up there singing along. So I got involved in the marketing committee
Okay.
and coming up with some different ways to help get more people, more butts in seats, and get more youth involved and more adults to hop on stage instead of me. Because that's good family, fun, a lot of good people that sometimes are behind the scenes doing a lot of good things that you never see.
Yeah.
So I've met a whole new group of folks and made some good new friends through Civic Theater. And have been to more shows, obviously, the last couple of years than I have the last 20.
Mm-hmm.
But they got some good stuff coming up. Wonderful Life for Christmas. Holy
Okay.
cow.
Yeah.
We're already selling tickets. And they just went on sale 2 weeks ago. We're above our goal. So
Wow.
if you're thinking about going now, you better get your
I
tickets.
keep, you gotta let me, because I keep
I-
saying I want to participate and go
Yeah.
to shows and things like that. I don't know if I'll ever get to the point where I actually want to play a role or
Yeah.
try to try out for
Yeah.
a role or anything like that. Yeah, but that's nothing on your agenda to do that.
Nope. I used to play the piano for the melodramas and the musicals in school, in high school.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I'm not a stage person.
Yeah.
Not
Me
a
neither.
stage person.
Me neither. Nah. So any other organizations? Is that it?
Pretty much. I'll do some task forces from time to time, and member of the Kiwanis Club still, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Wow, you're so involved. You're so involved. Amy, is there any person out there you think about your path to where you are now, family, friend, coworker, team at work?
Yeah.
Is there anyone that you would like to give a shout out today, just to show your appreciation?
Well, I've shouted out to Dave and Dana.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
are probably the big ones.
Mhm.
And so many people, they talk about, this last week was Random Acts of Kindness Day.
Okay.
And the small things that touch you,
Mm-hmm.
I've started letting people know that, hey, what you did the other day touched me.
Yeah.
I've got a friend who is in the insurance business,
Mm-hmm.
and he and his wife are from the area, and they've got a home in Colorado and a home in farmland and have roots here in Richmond. And he writes a blog, and so I watch Anson's stuff that he writes, and I pull some things from it. And you need to start letting these people know that they've touched you. So I reached out and said, hey, this was good. A friend of mine, Rusty Harmeyer, started
Rusty.
posting. Yeah,
You
good.
getting ready to retire, isn't he? Maybe?
Oh.
Maybe, I don't know.
Started posting some things on his Facebook that were inspirational but good, and I started watching. I didn't comment much or hit likes, but I said, Rusty, I like you doing that. Keep doing it. I didn't know anybody paid attention to him. So there's a lot of those little things
Yeah.
in life that do affect you that
Mm-hmm.
I started letting people know about it.
Me too. Because I'm getting older, but I don't know if that's a thing or what. But I just want people to, I want people to know that when I'm gone, I want people to say, "Man, that dude made me feel good."
Yeah.
I want it not. Life's too short, and just I want people to say, "Man, that was a good dude. Man, he made me feel."
And I think you can pull inspiration.
Yeah.
My friend Monica went through some very hard things, and she shared it very publicly. And I could relate with some of the things that she was saying.
Yeah.
And the things that I didn't necessarily relate to at the time, I can look back on when I have an experience and go, let's see. I remember that what Monica said. Okay, I'm going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so many people
Right.
doing even the little things that they have no idea that it's making a difference.
Wow. Amy, I'm so glad we put this together finally. Long time
you.
coming. But you're just so influential on me. I'm glad to consider you my friend.
Thank you.
And I look forward to continue seeing you do what you do and be successful at all your causes and at work and your business. And so can't thank you enough for being here today.
Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome.
Appreciate
Hey,
it.
that wraps up another show, Diamond Podcast. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time.